Good evening, friends. I'm Cassandra Joan Butler, your cosmic connector, your star reporter, your Agent 56 with the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. And I try to connect with you on Wednesdays around 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to talk about the energy of the week and also, of course, to connect with you and see how you're all doing, right? So welcome, welcome, welcome. We have some interesting questions to ask of you tonight as we are post full moon and we're heading towards the disseminating moon. Good evening, Christine and Paula and Patricia and Donna. Hi there. Hello, ladies. Hello. Thank you for sharing, Paula. Thank you for reminding me that when you share, your name goes in a little basket and then you receive a transit report. These are transit reports that are specifically designed for your birth chart, and they give you a little bit of a flavor for what your month or day or however is panning out. And I have a special welcome to those of you who may be new to astrology. I know the folks on the CIA page certainly aren't necessarily new to astrology, but wherever you're listening, whether this be on the YouTube or my personal page or elsewhere, I welcome you. So in the manner of introduction, right after the full moon, we have learning, right? So we had this beautiful full moon on Sunday, and that seems like such a long time ago. And then the moon, as it loses light, it falls into something called the disseminating wave, the disseminating phase, which inspires us to speak out about that which we've learned. And so in one short week, we've learned a lot here locally in New York State. We have a new governor. We also have the stamp of approval from the FDA on the Pfizer V. And many people are reacting to that. I know many of my friends and family are strongly reacting to the the mandates. And I want to talk about that, but not in a polarizing way. Applying the astrology to our discussion tonight, the disseminating moon has a very particular connection with the possibility of healing, as the planet of love is opposite the wounded healer. Yes, Venus will be opposite to Chiron. And in that opposition, friends, in astrology, when planets are opposite to each other, like a full moon, when the sun and the moon are opposite to each other, we get a different perspective. We learn something new. If we are open with our hearts, if we're staunch and totally committed to our position, we don't have an opportunity to live. And that's the essence of what life is all about. In loving, we are loving people who are different than us by nature of the fact that they're not inside of our skin. So this week is especially important for us to keep an open mind and to look for healing opportunities amongst the people in our lives who may not think as we think about the big issues of the day. So the big issue of the day we're going to talk about a little bit tonight is the V for the V. So I mention this probably every time I speak or every time I teach about the importance that we're moving into this new Aquarian, not the new Aquarian age. I think most astrologers would agree we're not in the Aquarian age because we have birthing pains when an astrological age envelops and develops and evolves. You might say we're still at the tail end of the Piscean age. It's usually considered to be 2,100 years, right? 2,100 years. We're not at that, or 2,500 rather, years. We're not close to 2,500 years in Pisces. Having said that, whatever had happened in December 21st of 2020 was typically the grand conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter is coloring all of our perceptions collectively. And that is the energies in the sign of Aquarius, which means the people. So the people is the collective. And as I'm tuning into the collective, and I'm sure here's the question for the night, are you tuning in and feeling different angst and anger and confusion and polarization? I think I am. I'm feeling that. And I think that the next week may give us an opportunity with Chiron opposite Venus to look at the different points of view, considering how the crisis of the virus has been unfolding on the planet with everyone. So that peaks on Friday at 9:19 in the morning, 8:27, and get a load of the Sabian symbol. The Sabian symbol is a widow at an open grave. When it comes right down to it, we are stewards for each other. We don't want anyone to suffer pain and death. Now, pain and suffering can come in so many different forms. And as a result, we have a mandate, thanks to the FDA, which has put its declaration on this particular vaccination. There's more of a reason to mandate that across the board. My philosophical astrological point of view, and I'm keeping this as astrological as possible, is that Aquarius is the people, and Aquarius is the energy that makes us all human, but different. And so, having said that, when you mandate something across the board for all bodies, that doesn't make sense to me by any stretch of the imagination. And when you are using your rationality and trying to discern what is best for you, I know countless clients and friends who have been confused and have different reasons for receiving and not receiving the V. But in any case, this particular phase is going to get the discussion started. And so my question to you is, how are you dealing with people in your own life who have a different point of view about receiving or not receiving the vaccination? Are you polarizing them? Are you shutting them out? Are you demonizing them? For either way, I feel that we have been living since 2017 with very much a metaphysical, collective, discordant polarity. Yes, ever since, and it has nothing to do with a human being, ever since that great American eclipse, which cut the country down the middle, 27 degrees of Leo, back in 2017. This week may give us an opportunity to bridge that gap, because ultimately, the widow at the open grave is a symbol that suggests to us that there is a void. There are things about my body you don't know, things about your body I don't know, things about your point of view I don't know. So, okay. All right, I'm just talking to the room. Explain my thoughts and listen to them. This is from Jill, to each their own. All right, so what you just described, Jill, is a very good description of the Leo aspect, which is the grounding force of this Aquarian time. And Leo is about sovereignty. How can you find your sovereignty in a time of collective crisis? That's another question. All right. I feel we should each decide what's best for us. I have no judgment. Well said, Lois. Each one has their own choice, in my opinion. What's good for one is not good for everyone. My family is divided. And that's the pain I'm seeing from clients. One example, of course, I never kiss and tell, was of a young client who had gone to a gathering, and a parent of hers called her up and chided her and lit into her and criticized her for going to a gathering. My client was safe, and she practiced safe distancing and so forth, but it was an opportunity for her to be berated and feeling criticized. I think that we should all respect each other's decision-making process, because that is the quintessential essence of what this new Aquarian version is: unity and diversity. Another client mentioned to me this past week, she's very successful in the business arena. And one of the, not surprisingly, one of the trends in business is focusing on diversity. When I say the word diversity, many of you might instantly come to the idea of racial diversity. And she's saying, no, the lens of that aperture has gotten much larger to include, to be inclusive, not just with people who have different skin color, different backgrounds, even different abilities, different sexual preferences, and so forth. She says, really, it cuts much deeper than that to allow for diversity in thinking. And what I am seeing in my little corner of the world is this ferocious criticism of each other and basically banishing people if they don't think the way you do. Now, as far as federal mandates and so forth, I understand about, the stamp of approval of the FDA. And to be honest with you guys, I respect the FDA. I really do. Even though I'm going to Roswell on Friday to make sure I don't have cancer. Because I was using an FDA approved medical device, which suddenly, whoopsie, creates cancer. We can trust the experts. We can trust the experts, but we also have to trust our two hemispheres of our minds. If there's one passion I have with all of my metaphysical work and astrological work, psychic and mediumistic work, is that each of us have truth within each other. That if we trust it and roar like a lion, connect with our Leo self, we'll be okay. And sometimes we make decisions based on someone else's opinion, right? I have another dear friend. She got the V for the V because she's living with an immune-compromised spouse. And it was going against her particular better judgment, but she was okay with that. As long as we have information that is vetted by our own left and right brain, our own intuition and our intellect, then I think bravo. But we shouldn't berate or banish people who have different thoughts from ourselves. And so that's what the disseminating phase in my mind is all about. Chiron, the wounded healer, is going to be opposite Venus, which is love and connection. So you may find that in your own home. You may find that in your own family, your own group. People who have different points of view and how you can bridge that difference. Okay. Let's see what's any comments here. Hello to here. Just big hello to everybody. Big hello to everybody. Chastity is saying something very, very important. Thank you. The F word, fear. Remember, friends, we are still living under the umbrella of fear, Dr. Death Pluto, in Capricorn. That's been floating around since 2008. And in 2020, when it lined up with Saturn, it was a fear free fall, free fall. Say that 3 times. A fear free fall. And again, when you are afraid, what shuts down? Your immunity and your way of thinking. True story. I took A&P. The minute you're afraid, the blood rushes to the points in your body, the anatomy in your body, which wants you to flee or sometimes be paralyzed. But you cut down the cognition. So again, good point, Chastity, making a decision. And then if the decision is being made for us, do we have a right to say, no, this is my sovereign body or not? Well, I know many dear ones I know are meeting, for example, at the Walden Galleria on Saturday for, let me see if I got the right thing here. Saturday, August 28th, Stand Up for All Freedoms, 211 Walden Avenue, across from the Galleria Mall, 9 until noon. It's a medical freedom for New York students event. Very often it's the students that lead the charge, right? The young people. I'm sure some of you in this room have marched for freedom, for different sovereignty, for different groups, female rights, civil rights, and so forth. So ultimately, my dear friends, we have to remember the Leo message of sovereignty during these times, not this week, not next week, for the next 20 years. Sovereignty, the Leo parts of ourselves that keep us safe and unique, instead of going into the great Aquarian melting pot, which says we're all just detached collective, the detached to collective. That's Aquarian at its worst. All right, some other things about the disseminating phase. We have, get this one, Mars conjunct Mercury conjunct Hygiena. So what's Mars? Mars is, of course, is action. A call to taking action, to talk about Mercury, or think about or write about Hygiena, health. That takes place on Friday. A call to action for health. And many health workers are issuing the mandatory vaccination. And that's just one gathering that I know of, but I'm sure there'll be more cropping up in the next week or so. Because when it comes right down to it, if you have to lose your sovereignty to keep your job, isn't that also a whittle at the open grave? Best way to starve someone is not let them eat or work. So that's one phase, or our disseminating phase. Number 2, Black Moon Lilith is conjunct Ceres and the North Node. Ceres, remember, is the goddess of the grain. She is the earth mother. She is the way we take care of ourselves, the way we eat, the way we drink good water, the way we sleep. And they're all clumped together in the sign of Gemini. So with the sign of Gemini, that's more information that's being challenged to disseminate relative to self-care. But I think the most important thing about this disseminating phase is going to be that Venus opposite Chiron, the wounded healer. We're all feeling wounded, and it's not just because of a microscopic bug. We're feeling wounded about what's going on in the world, but most importantly about the great divide amongst people. If someone disagrees with your point of view, no matter what that point of view is, and I champion everyone's point of view, everyone's decision is their decision. I champion that. That is right. That's sovereignty. That's letting the Leo within you roar. Maybe, perhaps, this is the week that you can bridge any divide within your families and saying, I know what's best for me. I know what's best for me, Mom. I know what's best for me. I know what's best for me, my employer. I can't do that. It's best for me. We have to remember the me in the midst of the we. That's such an important message over the next 20 years, friends. Individual rights often end at your nose, but then we have to take responsibility for our decisions as well. All right. Agree to disagree. Thank you, Jody. Good evening, Deb. Yes, anytime, Michelle, just give me a call. New to the group. Hi, Robbie. Welcome. Oh, your birthday is August 28th. That means with your solar return, you'll be in the disseminating phase. I don't know if you're a writer, Miss or Mr. Robbie. I can't tell which. Could be either one. You're going to be doing a lot of communication this week. All right, Susan, I'll talk a little bit more about that this Friday. Okay, so Chiron, everyone has a Chiron. Chiron is this amazing asteroid. It's an outer asteroid was discovered in 1977, and it's actually larger than Pluto in diameter, but it's an important archetypal energy that represents the wounded healer. And it has a very ecliptical orbit. In other words, a very irregular orbit. It usually comes together in the sky in the position when you were born, when I was born, around age 50. Sometimes it's age 48. So that's why we talk about the big Chiron return around age 50. At age 50, people either start living or dying. Literally. They're either wanting to recreate themselves from an emotional point of view or a physical point of view. 50 is a very big year. And Chiron has been in the sign of Aries since 2018. And then when it's opposite Venus, which represents love, we are very aware of the wound of maybe not loving enough or not understanding enough or being misunderstood by our loved ones. So it's not exactly peaking on Friday, but it's in that discussion for the disseminating phase. I hope that is clear for you. So Chiron opposite Venus is one of the hallmarks of the astrology of this upcoming week. And the other one, again, is Black Moon Lilith, Ceres in the North Node. Ceres represents also an aspect of health, but it's health through nutrition. Black Moon Lilith is kind of like this feisty, subterranean, sometimes angry and rageful feminine aspect. She's a trickster. And together in the sky in Gemini can mean a new way of looking at things. Again, forgive me for just pounding that message, but I'm seeing this so clearly from an astrological point of view. Too much Aquarius, too much we doesn't leave room for me or you. You need both. You need the Leo and the Aquarius to balance themselves out. And so now that we are moving through this next 20-year cycle, we have to be very vigilant to keep our own personal sovereignty. Did anyone ever tell you how to wear your hair or your clothes? You know how teenagers are? Teenage years represent the epitome of the Aquarian ideal because their tribe, their group as a teenager often mirror each other. They want to discern and differentiate themselves from the adults. So depending on the particular time, they might grow long hair or have tats all over their face or their nose or their heart, whatever. And there's a distinctive look to be a part of the group. It's groupthink. And yet the groupthink is trying to discern from the other groups. I'm seeing that happen. The groupthink. We can still all bridge that polarization. And that is happening in the sky this week. And it gives us an opportunity to look at another person's point of view. If someone doesn't take the V, it doesn't mean they don't like people. It doesn't mean they don't like people. Maybe they have a medical condition. Maybe they have an allergy. Maybe they have a religious point of view. Maybe. But we can't presume anything if someone says no V for me. We have to respect that. And then when we have the powers that be that say, oh, you all have to get the V because therefore, we're all human. We all have the same bodies. And I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That medical equipment that's been recalled, when I talked to the provider of it, they said, well, only 300 people came down with cancer. Really? I don't want to be one of those. FDA approved. Oh, well, I have to speak by disseminating truth. I don't want to lie to you guys. Hard for me to lie with my little Sagittarius North Node conjunct Saturn. I just get grumpy. All right. So there we have it. Let's take a look at how this is all affecting you guys. All right. Beginning on Friday until next week. Well, it's already happening right now. These are some tidbits for you. If you are an Aries or Aries rising, this energy is focusing and asking you to celebrate your skills, to remind you of how terrific you are. your self-worth, your ability to get along and make yourself abundant in this world. It's actually focusing on your income. So Aries, if you've been thinking and, oh, maybe I'll change my my way of bringing in income stream, this might be a very good week for you to divulge that idea. Taurus or Taurus rising, all eyes are on you. You are really stepping up to the plate and shining a light on your own personal charisma, your own personal sovereignty with this energy that's coming up this week. So applause for the Tauruses. Be bold, be brave, and get moving. For our Geminis or Gemini rising, you may be feeling a little bit physically under the weather, but emotionally and spiritually on fire. You might be getting some amazing dreams. You may be getting a lot of impulses to help other people with your inspired thoughts. Your meditations might be a lot deeper. It's okay to be a little tired this week, but just fill up that void. Remember, the widow at the open grave, the void. Fill up that void with your own spiritual practices for the Gemini risers. Cancer risers, you may be looking at ways to strengthen your connections with your groups and your friends. You may be saying to yourself, no, it's time to have a socially distant and safe party or whatever. Call up those friends of yours that you've been out of touch with and connect with like-minded people. You'll be much better for it. Leo or Leo rising, you're looking at the big story of your career. You might be inspired this week, my dear Leo risers, to come up with some new ideas about what direction you should be taking in your career. Now, keep in mind, just because you come up with an idea doesn't mean you're going to be acting on it. We have a lot of action going on in October when the major 2 planets are going to be going direct. A lot of information will be coming down the pike for you for that. But in the meantime, play around with new ideas, Leo, about what you would like to do in the outer world. For Virgo or Virgo rising, this is a great week for you to manage your truth, how you're communicating it. If you want to do some marketing, if you're self-employed or something like this, do those types of things and maybe even plan a little trip. Get out of the routine and do something fun and different. Libra or Libra rising, this energy is about you taking your inner power and feeling it, aligning with your immense ability for compassion and love, and at the same time, heal the physical. It's an empowering week for our Libras or Libra risers. Scorpio or Scorpio rising, this particular week with the Taurus disseminating moon is activating your significant others. Who do you want to spend most of your time with? That's what an SO is. It doesn't have to be a spouse, wife, a husband. It can be a BFF. I know a lot of people whose BFFs are their furry friends. Whatever that means for you, Scorpio, be aware of the people who are closest to you and how you want to spend your time with them and become a better partner to them. Reach out to them. For Sagittarius or Sagittarius rising, this is a great week for you to take care of yourself, to bolster up the how-tos when it comes to how to exercise, how to eat better, how to create stronger immunity, and maybe dust off your work tools in a new way. With the Capricorn friends, Capricorn risers, it's time to play, to tap into your inner child, to be a little bit more fearless and feisty and create more fun in your life. For Aquarius or Aquarius rising, your focus will be on the home and family, maybe reordering some things within the home, doing some deep cleaning or organizing of an old closet, going down the basement and digging up things and letting them go. Or make that bridge that may be happening in your own family less so. Talk to people and see how that bridge, that polarization can be healed. For Pisces or Pisces rising, your thoughts are on the line this week. And what that means for you, Pisces, you'll be changing your mind quite a bit and rearranging your everyday environment in some ways with this Taurus lunation. Okay, so there you have it. Everyone's little, and just a big hello to people. Hi, Linnell. Thank you for the feedback, Rhonda. And hi there, Julie. Hi, Dennis. Absolutely, Stacy. My personal sovereignty has become very precious. She did the V for you. That's the way we should do the V. V for me, or no V for me. It's love and light for each and one of you. And no, there's no excuses and no explaining. No explaining. No explaining. That's sovereignty and feeling good about your decision, no matter what that decision is. What I do not like, what I take umbrage with, is the universal mandates. This is just the beginning, friends, because we're living in this Aquarian 20-year period where the theys are going to speak for all of us. I don't think that's fair. We have to have the me with the we. Exception to every rule. The Bill of Rights. We'll see how it all shakes down and how it all plays out. All right. I'm going to reward you lovely people for sharing with a transit report. Drum roll, please. And the winner this week, he's won before, but we got to be fair. Mr. John Linza. I'm not sure you may be in the room tonight. You might not, Johnny, but congrats. You won before because you're a good sharer, but I'll find something else, maybe a numerology report to send to you. My great pleasure, John. It was so fun to see you in person when I was teaching at Lilydale this week with the astrology discoveries, and this past week I taught a past life regression seminar, and we all masked up, and I met someone I've never met in the flesh, because she's come to my classes. And for a moment, I did not know who she was. It was like this revelation. Oh my gosh, you look smaller in person than you do on my Zoom screen. How nice to meet you. Yeah, it was a great week. I was at Lilydale teaching. We love Lilydale. Lilydale is winding down its season. Me and Dr. Patricia Bell are already planning some classes online for intra-season. And here's a little reminder also for you, friends. This Sunday, I do Divine Grace Fellowship on my Facebook page. So please tune in. It will also be on the YouTube page. It's a time to meditate and pray together and do some spiritual readings, which we will be doing right now. All right. How we do this, if you're new to this, I say prayer and I connect with what's called my mediumistic skills, which we all have. All of us have psychic skills. I don't think I've ever met a person who's never, ever not had a hunch of some sort. It's gotten a lot more out of the open, or in the open, I should say. Again, astrological explanations since 2012. The wonderful planet Neptune, which represents psychics and symbolism and intuition and compassion, has moved into the sign of Pisces, first time in 146 years or so. And so since 2012, there's been a resurgence of interest in things that can be best described as maybe metaphysical. So all of you have a Neptune in your chart. And if you don't know your chart, I would invite you to connect with my websites. I was in the beginnings as just CassandraJoanButler.com. And please also take advantage of the best website on the planet, I think, in my humble opinion, is Cosmic Intelligence Agency. It has something for every level of astrological interest, and constant classes and webinars and so forth. So please take advantage of this wonderful tool that's open to all. All right. So for the messages, I do this process. I would ask you, please, always ask you to share this, but ask you, please, to let me know if you would like a message by saying that in the comments now. I will use my finger to randomly select 2 people, and we'll see how it goes. All right. So, dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words to be filled with love and light and truth. Inspiration and healing for the highest and for the best as we align ourselves with the Holy Spirit. Okay? Eyes closed. Okay. Angie Falua Moose. Angie for sometimes my pronunciation is a little inadequate. Angie Falua Moose. Muse. It's a pretty name. Angie. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Angie, as I'm tuning into your energy, it's like I'm seeing a painting. I'm seeing a painting of you. It's like a very detached, it's not a real thing. This might be a painting somewhere in your home, but there's lush dark greens and woods, and there's a path, and there's very interesting dark sky with some starlight in it. But it's just, you're seeing someone walking on this path solo into the woods. I'm going to interpret that in 2 ways. You may actually have a painting like that somewhere in your home. Very green, very rich, dark colors, very evocative, not gloomy per se, but very rich in symbolism of going into a phase of your life when you don't know what lies in store for you. So sometimes the spiritual message I'm getting for you, Angie, is you just have to stay on your personal path and go into this darkness, inching along step by step, and having the confidence that all of the training, the word I'm getting is training, that you've received in your life will be able to direct you, because you're not seeing yet the silver lining. It's not quite a catastrophic type of painting. It's a picture of you just trudging along through the woods, through the dark woods, and having the confidence as you move your steps, step by step, that you're going to find your way in the dark. Very symbolic message for you. Okay, so I'm going to give you that message. I'm also going to say something a little bit more in the practical ways. I'm getting an image of glasses. I'm getting an image of glasses for you, and I'm being directed to your eyes. Now, I'm not sure if that means that you have just gotten new glasses, or you're seeing differently, or you have a different point of view, but I'm going to give you that message as well. Something about eyesight. And feel free to give me feedback, Angie, as I'm doing this. Number 3, I'm very aware of I'm going back to that training, that you are about to launch something that you've been training for, but you're not sure you can do it, or you have some hesitancy, or you have some insecurity, whether this means a new job or even a new hobby or avocation, as though you've been training. This is more like seeing in the dark. I'm going to take a risk and say, perhaps you've been doing some spiritual development classes and you're not quite confident whether or not you know what you're doing. But Spirit is saying you absolutely know what you're doing, and to breathe through this insecurity and then just move through with the idea that you're being guided. Okay? Or you're trying to get into a home. You're trying to get a home, You're trying to get into a home. Okay, Angie. So that's probably what this is about. You're not sure. Does that make sense? You like it? Okay. It's quite a challenge. Usually I at least I have a screen between the people I read, but I do like giving, because why? I trust the process. Okay, sweetie, you're trying to get into a home. Okay, one step in front of you, sweetie. One step in front of you. You're going to have that courage to get through. Because there's that dark woods that I was picking up with you. And I'm going to say something else, Angie. They're giving me September 9th, very strong, Angie, by September 9th. And there is going to be someone that's going to help you. There's two people that were helping you. One was a female, one was a male, trying to help you get into a house and trying to shelter. I get the word shelter in place for a little bit more time. By September 9th, I feel that you're in this place. You have the shelter. I think the female disappointed you, but the male is going to come through, because wherever you are living on the planet, I have no idea where you're living. There's there are many people who are in the same boat as you right now. And please keep on having the faith and trust your inner resources. When it comes right down to it, my dear friends, stuff doesn't matter. Our connection with ourselves is all that matters. It's all that matters, because no matter what we're going through, if you have that faith that you can step in front of every challenge in your life and know that in that moment you'll make the right decision, that comes, my personal opinion, it's taken me a long time to be at that place. It's taken me a long time, a lot of stumbling, but to know that you're being guided, Angie. Okay? Best of luck, Angie. And we're all going to send you lots of love and light right now, so that what I said about September 9th, no later than that, comes to pass. Okay, you're welcome, sweetie. Take care. You're welcome, my dear friends. Also, let me know where on the world you are coming in from. I love to know where you're coming in from. That's always fun. That's the beautiful part. I talk about Aquarius energy. I love the fact that we can literally be connected to each other, all the different variations of stardust, with something as innocuous as a Zoom or Facebook call. Dear God, please allow me to serve. Okay, the next person. Whoops. All right. Pia Den Holder. Pia, I'm with you, honey. Pia from Sweden. Pia from Sweden. Okay. Pia, are you with us? You said, I think my finger found you. Okay. Pia. I shouldn't do that. Okay, Pia, I would like to connect with you, dear Pia. Okay, you're here. Beautiful. What time is it in Sweden, by the way? I need to get one of those fancy watches that tells the time all over the world. Anyway, Pia, let me connect with your energy. What I'm getting with you, my dear, is this lovely apron. And it seems to me it's like a painter's apron. It's kind of like heavy blue. I don't think it's for cooking. I think it's like a painter's smock or apron. This could be symbolic. This could represent that you are in the process of creating something, or it literally can mean that you are a painter and that you want to paint something really interesting. But okay, now they're shifting it and they're calling it also a shield. All right. I don't know if you know your chart, Pia, but I'm getting an astrological message for you. Check out where Pallas Athena falls in your chart. I have a feeling you might know some astrology, Pia. If not, you can PM me afterwards and I'll send you your chart and I'll tell you where Pallas Athena, where the asteroid Pallas falls in your chart, because somehow that's very relevant to this message for you, that you are putting on your uniform, your blue smock, is a form of shield and is a form of for courage, of moving forward. I'm not sure if you wear a uniform, but this idea is that you're changing your presentation in a new way as an advocate and as an artist, or maybe you're an advocating artist. Again, we want to look at this more from a symbolic, spiritual point of view. This doesn't necessarily mean you're just an artist who's doing radical paintings, but there's something about the idea of changing your garb, the change of the garb for Pia. I'm also picking up with you that I'm getting the extended family. I'm getting father. This would be the mother's father. I think mother's father is in spirit, and mother's father, your grandfather, is coming in here with a great deal of wisdom and sending you patience, because he's saying that even as a child, you were the whippersnapper. That's a funny little expression, which means precocious child. Okay. And okay. So that preciousness about you as a child is coming into action now. So that's from your grandfather's point of view. I'm also wanting to share with you something about, I don't know if you have animals, but plural is what I'm getting with you, Pia. I'm seeing animals, and there is some form of reconsideration with them. All right, so maybe I wish I could just talk to you, because I'm getting a large dog, and there may be some concern about this particular beautiful animal. No, it's in the living, I believe. It could be actually a neighbor's dog. You do have a dog. Okay, because I was getting a dog with you, and there's some sort of reconfiguration. Spirit is saying maybe you're training the dog, or maybe you're making sure the dog is getting different food or something along these lines. Like some of your attention is towards your beautiful dog. I'm also picking up with you, Pia, that I want to go back to that image of you wearing the smock and you recreating something in your life. It's in astrology, we have something called the rising sign or the ascending sign. I think I'm going with that symbolic interpretation, that you've changed something about how you look or how you present yourself to others, and you're feeling really good with this new look. And the new look is basically opening new doors for you as well. And the grandfather again, or the great grandfather, I'm pretty sure it's a grandfather, is reminding you of your fierce feistiness like Pallas Athena. So this asteroid is speaking to you tonight. All right. Oh, honey, she is sick. Okay, honey. That's why I was picking up the dog, but you're concerned about your dog. Okay. We are all sending Pia's dog lots of love and lots of healing. I didn't see that until this minute. Okay. Yes, I have. I'm expecting myself as I am. Okay, sweetheart. Yeah. Our dogs are so precious to you. I'm a dog person and a cat person, right? So Pia, we have a lot of really strong healers in this room. Let's everybody send some healing to Pia's dog, because it was coming very much in the reading here tonight, sweetie. All right. I think that ought to do it for the readings tonight. I'm going to, I think you guys really like the readings. I'm going to try to figure out blessings to you. That if you're not on my mailing list, please get on my mailing list, because as we get into the fall, there's less time going out and not weeding my garden. Did you catch that? Not weeding the garden. I'm going to be doing more events online, and would love you all to participate in the events. So just join the mailing list. I've got a really great class coming up. It's called it's elemental, it's ways to access your own intuition. So you're using both brains. So you can do what I'm doing right here, right? I mean, everyone's psychic. It's just a matter of practice and most of all, trust. Someone said earlier, unfettered, unconditional trust. And it's not just trust in yourself, but the trust you have is in the creator of you. Now, that's a nice politically correct word. You can call it God, or you can call it the universe, or you can call it creator God, or the grand turtle in the sky, or Loki. No, not Loki. I think she's the destruction goddess. Whatever. But as far as I know, I didn't create myself. And when you align with your creative energy, you're also aligning with the multiple universal creative impulse, which, brought this experience of consciousness into form. Viva la consciousness, my dear friends. Viva your Leo. Viva. Congratulate yourselves for thinking your own thoughts in your own way and connecting and creating your own sovereignty in a sea of Aquarian energy. We love Aquarius energy. Please, I'm not picking on Aquarius people. Please don't misunderstand. But what we're doing is experiencing in the collective. I think it's kind of like a pushback or a squelching of individual Leo sovereign opinions in the face of what's going on the planet. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Prayers for Desi. Good night. Have a great week. And thank you so much for joining me. And we'll see you, creator willing, next week. I love you. Have a great week.